Welcome to the 2026 Wilson County Football Media Days, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric. Main Street Media will be bringing you exclusive interviews from coaches, players, and special guests. And now, broadcasting live from Aubrey's Restaurant on West Main Street in Lebanon, here is your host, David Wilson.
But also, people like Stewart goes up there and does PA for free for years for us as, kind of people that make our thing run. And Woolhan, he's great. Because we'll hand him stuff right before the game, be like, hey, this is a game day sponsor. I promise you this, and that right there is the reason why. Because she's our bulldog. She's all stuff. But if there's something we're gonna slap something on her. We got injury timeouts.
Y'all sound like Green Hill softball. It seems like they got a freaking sponsor for everything.
Sometimes they'll do it just because it fits whatever it is. Like I said, injury timeout. Like you have them doctors, that one. And they'll pay for it because they get, throw something.
Mic check 1 2 3. 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 When I was in Robertson County, I had Springfield with Dustin Wilson like 1 year they were really struggling. And someone used to say, just play a bunch of young kids. Yeah. He said, just wait till they grow up.
As a staff, we met and said, obviously in this county we can't recruit, but what we can do is invest. And let's invest in who you have. And let's show them we care, and they have.
Yes, sir.
You can go to whatever. You can go to the next one. I don't care.
Welcome back in to Wilson County Media Days here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that brings good power to Wilson County. Back here for the Mountain Juliet segment, brought to you by West Tree Service, your premier, locally and family-owned tree care company here in Wilson County. And Coach, we were kind of talking about just the lessons you learned from last season. Obviously, you were in the middle of an answer. I want you to allow yourself to continue to finish that thought.
Yeah, we were really talking about just being process-driven, and I think it got started in November, December, and carried out through the off season. And our kids focused on the day-to-day too. We were talking, when we were trying to get that cleaned up a second ago. There were times in the off season where they had opportunities, like when lunch is over in the cafeteria and you see food still on the table. You got a choice. You can walk past it and leave it, or you can do the MJDNA thing and pick it up and throw it away. And and not really want the credit, and sort of build that way, like find wins that way. What are you doing outside? What are you doing in the classroom? Everybody knows Saban was an uber competitor, but I think he did this process-driven thing because he focused on rep to rep. That's why when they were beating Chattanooga by 50, he was ripping the third-string safety because he wasn't fitting force right. He didn't care about the score. He cared about the play, the rep. He cared about the kid to coach that way and to play that way. So anyway, long way of saying we want to be process-driven at Mount Juliet.
Yeah, we had this conversation as well at the Northeast game. Just last year, just really those first couple games, really struggling to find a way to score the football, particularly in the red zone. Obviously, the quarterback position last year was kind of trying to see who could take the job after Tyler Travers graduates and go on to Eastern Kentucky. You're going to have a new quarterback this year as well. Kind of talk about that change, and obviously that's a young man that's sitting over there that you guys really believe in that can kind of lead this offense moving forward.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So last year, unfortunately, just about this time of year, our starter at the time was J.J. Helm, and he'd earned that spot, and just had a freak ankle injury in our first scrimmage, and it's probably a good plug for me to say I appreciate the warrior spirit that J.J. had last year because he basically put off surgery to be able to play some for us. He was obviously limited in his mobility, but he did the best he could, and he's continued to be that kind of teammate throughout. He's getting better. He's getting healthier, and finally had the surgery. So, but Jonas Gazal has been incredible for us, and I think it started, for me personally, our relationship began to really grow around December. He walked in and sat down and said, whatever it takes, and that means if you need to get on to me, get on me. But whatever it takes, I want to be a leader this year. That's what he said first. And then, you know, if you want me, if you think I'm the quarterback, you know, let me work at it, give me a shot, and I'll take it. And he's done that, but he's done it with humility and a relentless work ethic. I don't like saying people outwork me, but he outworks me. Yeah. He constantly is asking for extra film study too, and I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got to ask you, we kind of talked at the Titans media day of making this offense quarterback friendly. Those were your words, not mine. How have you kind of done that this offseason to kind of, maybe not dumb things down is the right word, but make things more simple for him and the offense as he's relearning that position from moving from wide receiver?
I would say the best thing I've done is let the guy over my shoulder over there, Coach Carver, run what he's built. And part of that is we got to get together as a staff in November and say, you know, what's our identity? You know, when Mount Juliet, because we get what we get, you know, it's not the recruiting service that it is in some places, but at Mount Juliet, what do we normally have come through in our cycles, you know, and for us, by and large, for years, it's been longer bodies that we can develop into really good tight ends, outside linebackers, inside linebackers, and it can expand out from that. And we've had athletic quarterbacks. So, and Coach Carver was a quarterback in our system, an athletic quarterback in our system. So, it's getting back to that. You know, it may be 12 personnel, but we've got the kind of flexibility with Xander Bohannon, Rylan Ware, people like that we can throw two tight ends in the game and look like 11 or 10 personnel. We want to be shift and motion heavy. We want to have our big word offensively or phrase offensively this offseason has been tempo confusion. So I don't want the same tempo all the time, but I want to be able to break a sugar huddle fast, get lined up with no motion and go on a quick count. I want to be able to slow count them. I want to be able to one-word them and get down the field that way. But just tempo confusion and constant variation of that tempo. And like you said, and just to kind of finish out the answer, the red zone part, what am I? I'm breaking it for long answers, aren't I? That's what it is.
It just keeps going out.
No, it's just the big man upstairs saying, shut up, that's enough for that answer. Move on to the next one.
Sorry about that.
Is it my face?
It might be my face.
Did I not shave enough? Did I break anything?
You got to face the radio, Coach Steve.
We turned us in faster than anybody. So they at the end.
Thank you.
You don't just wait till the end because I want to make sure we beat everybody. If the writing got better, looks better at the end.
It's because it wasn't yours.
Yeah. Oh, did you have stuff on the back?
They filled it out.
Oh, okay.
I think I knew who the kicker was, but not everybody.
He's pretty known. He just charted really well.
Yeah, he went to Cole's recruiting service. Yeah.
And I was telling Ivan, I think part of it that's been really cool for me to watch, he's gotten way better. He was always been a good kicker. Very accurate, very confident, same swing of the leg, all the stuff you look for, hits the spots. But punting was sort of the thing that he sort of developed after soccer. And my goodness, he could crush it.
I'm not a Titans fan. A lot of my friends are, but like when I think of him, I think about how Brett Kern was so good for the Titans. How like, he changes your punter. Obviously, he didn't kick, but Tate changes games for you guys the way he can kick.
Think about this. People don't think about it enough, and it'll change probably someday. But currently, if you kick the ball from the opposite 40 and it goes in the end zone, it's dead. And you chart people that score from the minus 20, it's low. I mean, just in general, it doesn't even say this great offense versus that bad defense or whatever. Just plot it all out on the map. They score like 16% of the time. You give them one first down, it jumps like 15%. You give them 2 first downs, they start on the 40, it's like 40, 50% already.
Very scared because I was at the game. Mark, I know you're working. How is the timing of the favorites? That's probably a time question.
We can always go over a little bit.
Okay.
If it means that, get them. stands in the pocket when he needs to too. Like he's got that knack. There's part of that. I mean, you've heard him talk about.
Y'all's, I guess I can say bye week, fall break last year, they asked me to go cover them when they played FRA, and I mean, he went nuts.
That's like I told Ivan. I said we went back after that game. We went back and looked at the stats, and we'd give up 246 yards to him. I was like, well,
We did. Junior?
Yes, sir.
Senior?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got it. Mic check, or you ready to go live? Okay. Hey, can you keep me I don't know what time, like, where we're at. I'm gonna try to keep them for 10 to 12 if they're talkative. Okay. Nobody's from Lebanon's from here, so we're good. You ready? Okay. Oh, we're rolling now? Okay. Okay. Welcome back into Aubrey's restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee. The site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that's bringing good power to Wilson County. We are sorry and apologize about the technical difficulties thus far. We'll continue our Mount Juliet segment brought to you by West Tree Service, your premier locally and family-owned tree care company in Wilson County. Surrounding me are 4 Golden Bear football players that you're going to see on the gridiron this fall. To my left, sitting in the chair, is junior Dante Young. To my right, senior quarterback Jonas Gazal. Behind me to my left, wide receiver / tight end Xander Bohannon. And behind me to my right is senior linebacker Zach Gleaves. And Dante, I'm going to start off with you. Last year, just a monster season from you defensively. You were the leader in all of Wilson County in tackles. Kind of talk to me about what allowed you to be so successful last year and some things that you're looking forward to build this year.
Just the late nights, working out, going to the gym on Saturdays and Sundays, weekends, training, like late training, early morning training, and looking forward to this year just breaking the tackle record.
Yeah, I got to ask you, that number that you're wearing across your chest right now, number 1, Coach Perry mentioned to me that that's not a number that's been worn by this program in a long time. He felt like you were deserving of that honor in that moment. Kind of talk about how special that is for you to carry that 1 across your chest.
It's real special to me. I feel like I got to prove something this year now because it hasn't been worn forever, so I got to do something this year.
Jonas, I'm going to transition to you really quickly. You're going to share a mic with me if that's okay. We talked at the Titans Media Day just about your transition from wide receiver back to quarterback this fall. Kind of tell some folks just what that transition has been like and then taking command of this offense and leading it.
I think it's been easier as it went on, like during the offseason. I had some great coaches around me helping me, making sure the process was easier. Had some great teammates, receivers and tight ends. One of the guys standing to the left of him definitely helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I got to ask you, there's some weapons on this offense. Obviously, a guy that's not here that's going to be in the backfield with you is Eli Driver. Obviously, Xander as well is going to be in a weapon for you on the outside. Cooper Burgett, another young guy who's going to be a sophomore for you guys. I guess that has to be appealing and enticing that you're going to have some weapons to distribute the football on the outside.
Definitely. We're going to have a lot of weapons this year at every position, every skill position. And that's on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So we've improved a lot. We also know other teams have improved, so we're going to be ready for whatever's done.
Yeah. Joining to my left now is Xander Bohannon. Xander, obviously your recruitment is kind of taking some steam here of late. Kind of talk about some schools that are looking at you and some just how that process is working out for you thus far and what it looks like going into the season.
Yes, sir. So overall, I mean, it's just been a lot of connections. I mean, getting to know people. I mean, I've been traveling up north a lot. I just got an offer, my fifth offer from DePaul University. I have one from Rhodes, great academic schools. That has really helped me a lot just pursuing through my academics. That's really just those connections throughout, the people I've met, just everything's really come together well.
Yeah, I kind of want to ask you this question. Obviously, last year, not the season that you guys wanted, a 2-8 season, missed the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Kind of asked Coach Perry this question, but what has this group, and particularly the senior class, learned about itself over the last 365 days that can kind of change the course of this season and allow you guys to get back to where you want to be?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, obviously that's not the tradition that Mount Juliet High School has. We're a tradition of winning, and the guys before us have shown us that tradition of winning, and we just fell back on our level of training, level of like what guys have taught us before, and we just went on through that. We looked at ourselves in the mirror, turned it around, 10-0 mentality every single day, and that's what we strive for. Greatness.
Yeah, joining to my right here is Zach Gleaves, a senior on this defense as well. And Zach, obviously you're part of that linebacking unit that has Dante, that's looking to do a lot of big things and kind of be the center of this defense. Just kind of walk me through the defense overall, I guess some things that you're looking forward to and excited about this group kind of being the backbone of this team.
Yeah, one thing I'm actually really excited for is the chemistry that me and this defense have. Over the last year, we developed that strong bond, so I'm really excited for that. And also, we like to call ourselves the Tweakers, so yeah, y'all gonna have to see.
I got to ask you this. You guys are going to face some really good teams throughout your schedule. I don't think you're going to face probably a better quarterback. I'm not trying to do any bulletin board material than the first week of the season. Obviously, you're going to face Antioch, who has a quarterback who was a Mr. Football finalist last year, and Andre Adams, who's committed to Colorado. How exciting is that to, the first game at Roger Perry Field? You're going to face a really quality quarterback who's going to test you guys in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it's very exciting because we play a lot of very good teams. There's a lot of talent out there, but also we put in the same work and the same amount of effort that everyone else does. So it will be fun. It will be a good game. It will be a good game to play in and a good game to watch. So we're excited.
Yeah, appreciate these guys joining me for the Mount Juliet segment here. We're going to go to a commercial break. Right after this, we'll talk to some assistant coaches. Stay with us.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. No, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes, so twice a year we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we guide our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. We're continuing our Mount Juliet High School segment that is sponsored by West Tree Service. Joining me right now, to my left is Mount Juliet Offensive Coordinator Chase Allen, or Defensive Coordinator Chase Allen, sorry.
Close enough.
To my right is Mount Juliet Offensive Coordinator Cole Carver. Chase, obviously I'm going to start with you defensively. A lot of good returning pieces coming to this group. Obviously, we just got done talking to Dante Young, who was the leading tackler in Wilson County overall last year, a really exciting piece of that defense. Kind of talk to me about what things look like for you defensively so far as you work your way through camp.
Yeah, hopefully we can score some points, so maybe that'll help out with that. But when you have Dante Young in the middle, it kind of helps out. We're kind of moving him around in different spots, kind of try to locate number 1 and see where he's at and see if the people can find him, because after you have 129 tackles, I'm sure people are going to be looking for him. So. But the good news is he's surrounded by a lot of good talent. The defensive line's got 3 or 4 guys with a transfer from Wilson Central coming in named A.J. Henry. That's really good, too. Obviously, Zach Glees, you talked to, is a returning starter at inside linebacker. And then secondary-wise, we got a corner over there on an island that's named Kenan Mangrum that's incredible. He'll be tested a lot early in the year through Antioch and Beach and a couple of those guys, but I think he's up for the task, and I'm excited for what we got.
Yeah, I asked Zach this question. I would love to kind of get your perspective as well. I don't know if you're going to face a better quarterback throughout your season than week 1 when you faced Andre Adams in Antioch, a guy who was a Mr. Football Finals last year, had 48 total touchdowns on the season. Trey kind of joked with me off air that you guys only gave up 246 to him last year, and that's kind of a win compared to the performances that he had last year. Defensively, how is this going to challenge this group facing a player who can run and pass of his nature?
Yeah, it's definitely going to challenge us. I think when Coach T scheduled Antioch for the last 4 years, we definitely didn't know there was going to be an Andre Adams quarterback for all 4 of those years. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. I think with these 2 scrimmages we're going into with Hendersonville and Clarksville, with the wing T and triple option teams, it kind of exposes a couple of our guys on our defense to whether they're doing their job or they're not, because it's very rule-based when you're playing teams like that. So I think going into these next 2 weeks kind of helps us ID who can go against Andre Adams, because you're going to be at the very rule-based, right? He's going to break the pocket. He's going to scramble. He's going to step up. You're going to have to cover for more than 4 seconds. You're going to have to cover for 5 or 6 seconds, and Andy other than other weeks, right? But I think with guys like Andre, you do your job and trust the process and process-driven, and we hope it works.
Colt, last year this team, really kind of struggled offensively to find its identity through the first couple weeks of the season. Obviously, kind of played musical chairs with the quarterback position, trying to find that right guy after the graduation of Tyler Travers. We're gonna have a new quarterback this year. Obviously, Jonas transitioning back from wide receiver. Kind of walk through that decision and why ultimately you feel like he's a guy that can lead that team and lead that unit and allow it to have some offensive success early.
Yeah, it's never easy seeing someone like a Tyler Travers, a 3-year starter, and then just in that process, then injuries last year really hurt us as far as that position goes. But as far as Jonas Gazal, he's a guy who comes in, day out. Process-driven is a big word that we've been talking about. And he's about the work, and like Coach T joked about it, and he's not really joking, he outworks us, and he's pushing us, and he pushes his teammates to hold everybody accountable, and he's just kind of taking the reins, and he's taking that job. And he's an extension of the coaching staff on the field, and he's confident in his abilities, we're confident in his abilities, and we're excited to see him have that platform and what he does for us.
Yeah, Chase, I'm going to let you jump in here really quickly. Obviously, he's a young man that you know from the track and field as well, obviously a member of last year's state runner-up team on the track. Good kid, or a good football player, probably even a better person, is what you would probably say.
Absolutely. I think when the situation around that whole aspect of the 4x1 relay going into the state championship game, we threw him into a place where we haven't practiced it all year, but the kid wasn't on the 4x1 year. He came obviously, and he's the first leg of the fastest race, the most exciting race in track, and he pulls off a handoff to Kenyon Mangrum, off to Tyler Carr, off to Caden Oldham, and there we go with the second place finish. So I think it just everything Coach Carver said is right. Like he puts in the work, and it's starting to show itself.
Coach Carver, his speed is something that obviously he has. You're going to have some dynamic playmakers on that offensive side of the ball returning. Obviously, Eli Driver was over 1,000-yard back last year, a first-team all-region selection. Cooper Burgett on the outside, Xander Bohannon. Like, there are some pieces there offensively that he can have some comfortability with and distribute the football to and have some success.
Yeah, I think it starts with, like, say, the senior lead of Bohannon at the tight end position. He's a spitting image of a senior who he learned through with Carson Slocum when we had Tyler Travers in that incredible senior class, and it works down from there. We feel very confident in the abilities that we have inside the box and outside the box with the skill positions, and it's just about being able to facilitate the ball, get those guys opportunities out in space, and I think it can be very exciting for us. Like I say, we know about Eli and what he's done, but I'm super excited about some of our other younger guys who's now having a bigger platform, a bigger stage to have that opportunity for their coming out party, and we're very hopeful for an exciting show in the fall.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. I didn't get to ask Coach T this question, but I'll ask you offensively, who's somebody that we're not talking about right now that maybe week 7, week 8, week 9, when it's time to clinch a spot in the playoffs, get over that hump? Who's a guy that's going to make a play for this team that's not really getting talked about right now?
Yeah, Keelan Thomas is one for sure. I mean, I think he's starting to get talked about amongst other teams when we're there and for 7-on-7s because he flies off. He's got a quick step off the ball, outside receiver, but he's a guy who can do it all. He can move inside the slot. He can move inside the backfield. He's angry with the ball, and he's a go-getter. He's going to go and attack the ball at the highest level. Braxton is another one who coming over from the basketball court over to the football field, just incredible athlete. He's going to jump off to the page to show for it there. So with those guys to the outside, and then like you talked about with Cooper Burgett, who was just a freshman last year, and then a Ryland Ware, who was also just a freshman. We've got a lot of guys who we joke about, but they still haven't stepped foot in the sophomore class. So those are just a handful of guys. Honestly, I could sit here and talk because there's multiple people that we're just waiting for their opportunities, and they're waiting and they're ready.
Chase, I'm going to save the special teams question for you. You guys have an absolute weapon at kicker and punter, a guy that it's probably taken us too long not to mention his name. Obviously, he's going to have the opportunity to play at the next level after this season. Tate Murbitz, the defending Region Special Teams Player of the Year, 10 of 15 on kicks last year, averaged over 41 yards per punt. When you have a guy like that who can change the game as soon as you cross the 50, whether offensively or can down an opponent inside the 20 defensively, that's a weapon and a luxury to have, and you guys have that in him.
Yeah, absolutely. As a defense coordinator, I call him touchback Tate, because if we start on the 20, we got to make a team drive 80 yards. I feel pretty good about our defense. But Tate is just another product of a group of kids that worked hard, right? Tyler Johnson to Daniel Echeverria to now Tate Murbitz, of just a kicker lineage of guys that just showed up when they didn't supposed to, right? Like most kickers, you hear the stories, they show up for 30 minutes, they leave, right? Our guys show up 30 minutes early, they stay 30 minutes late, they hold the chains for us in situations, man. But our kicking culture is just different in Mount Juliet High School. And I think a lot of it's because of the Tyler Johnson, Daniel Echeverria, and now the Tate Murbitz, and Tate's reaping those same benefits that those are. That's Mr. Football Finals. There's an Army kicker there, and now Tate Murbitz has got, a lot of looks from schools that he deserves to get looks from.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you joining us here at our inaugural Wilson County Media Days. Looking forward to seeing you guys the first week of the season when you guys take on Antioch in the weeks to come. So appreciate you joining us. Coming up after this commercial break, Mount Juliet volleyball coach John Stevens will join us to wrap up the Mount Juliet segment right after this. Stay with us.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes, so twice a year we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there. Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. We're continuing our Mount Juliet coverage with our final segment brought to you by West Tree Service, your premier locally and family-owned tree care company here in Wilson County. Final segment, we're going to save the best for last, right? We're going to hand things off right now with first-year Mount Juliet volleyball coach John Stevens. John, appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
John, obviously you're no stranger to Wilson County. 2 separate stints at Friendship Christian, no stranger to the Mid-State. Also spent some time down at Franklin Road Academy on the south end of town. But first year as the head man at Mount Juliet, what kind of drew you to that opportunity and taking over a new team?
Yeah. Well, I started in the school, a year and a half ago and got to know a bunch of the kids beforehand and to kind of be a small piece of it last year. Just a great group of kids. There's some great athletes in there, some great families. So when the opportunity presented itself, it was a no-brainer for me, a chance to work with these kids. So,
yeah, I got to ask you, what did you learn about the group last year that made it so, I guess, enticing to take the job? Obviously, in a really tough district as well that has Green Hill, who made it to a sectional this past couple of years, Gallatin, who's a region champ. What kind of drew you to the opportunity to work with these kids and kind of build a program again?
Yeah, well, first thing probably is a lot of heart. And these kids fought through it's kind of a rough season last year. Like you said, competition was tough. But even in their toughest matches, man, these girls fought for it. They wanted it. They kept working, kept learning. So getting a chance to see that firsthand, to see the kind of character of the players that we had. And they're hungry for it this year. We've had them in the gym, off and on since June, but absolutely since the end of dead period. They're working 3 hours a day. An hour in the gym working on plyometrics and agility before we ever get to volleyball. So they know expectations are high, and they've set higher expectations for themselves. So it's been really great to see.
Yeah, obviously when you're an assistant, things are kind of different. You're kind of, I guess, echoing the message of the head coach. Now that you're the head coach, what kind of culture and kind of mindset have you wanted to kind of put your imprint, on this team and kind of build things out from that standpoint?
Well, first is hard work. We're putting in the time. The girls are all on board. They're putting in the effort. We're dropping new defensive and offensive schemes on them that they weren't prepared for or just hadn't, had in the past. And so to see them really soak that in, go all for it. We've just set our goals on high expectations this year and then pushing each other as a team, lifting each other up, do what we can to get there. We've kind of titled our season Leave No Doubt. That's kind of our theme, what we pushed for, and the girls are, they're on it. We're talking about leave no doubt and being prepared. We're leaving no doubt for who's been working, and there's no doubt that the girls are going to know what to do on the court when the time comes.
Yeah, I have to be very candid. I got a text message ago after you guys competed in one of your kind of summer camps, summer play days. Michelle Plummer from Green Hill texted me and said, you need to watch out. Coach Stevens has those girls kind of ready to roll. kind of talk about just working through the summer and some players that are specifically really kind of stepped up and they're going to be key contributors and players for this team.
Yeah, well, you know, we have Christine Lee is a returning senior, one of two that we have this season, but she's obviously making big moves in the middle. She's a huge block for us, and to see her kind of come alive this season has been great. Maddie Marks is in our setter role, kind of in our quarterback position, so to speak, but she has really taken on the leadership every opportunity we've given her. She's driving the girls on the court, just shows incredible heart, hustle out there. And then McKenna Kistemaker as well, coming back. She will be a junior. We have a strong junior class, big part of our program, but McKenna's a national level player during travel season, strong outside hitter, working day and night to be smart about ball placement and really stay on it. So those are definitely going to be key players for us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this question. Obviously, you've been around a long time in the Mid-State. Definitely wanted to get your opinion on this. This past kind of summer, the TLSLA has kind of, I guess, gone through the ringer and kind of gone through trying to figure out boys volleyball. Can it be an emerging sport for this state? Obviously, a lot of people are pushing for that. Kind of talk about just how adding boys volleyball to our state championship menu will be good for the state and good for the area overall.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you from the club world, this boys volleyball has been growing rapidly. We have several programs around with large men's programs. In fact, a club that we have up in Hendersonville has boys flying in from other states to train with them. So the opportunity, the desire is there, the drive is for it. I know that Green Hills has started a program. Mount Juliet's close behind. We started working with some of our players last year and expect to field a team this spring as we're working through it. So. And I think the time is right. It's on the upswing. Volleyball worldwide has always been one of the top sports, most popular. It's time for it to come down here in the South.
Absolutely. Well, John, we appreciate you joining for just a quick segment as we close for Mount Juliet. Obviously looking forward to working with you this fall, seeing your team in action, and we'll talk to you here really soon.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the time.
That will conclude here our Mount Juliet segment here for the first hour of Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon. Coming up after the break, hour number 2, it's the Lebanon Blue Devils on deck right after this. Stick with us.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Transformer over there. Doing, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. We're moving on to the second hour of our show. That means it's time for the Lebanon Blue Devils to make their appearance. Our Lebanon segment is brought to you by Elizabeth Scruggs with Superior Construction and Design, Wilson County's only female general contractor and interior designer, and also a Lebanon High School grad from the class of 1988. Joining me now is Lebanon football coach Chuck Gentry. Coach, appreciate you being here and spending some time with us on Media Days.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Appreciate y'all putting this on. Awesome for Wilson County football, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach G, just kind of diving straight into this, wrapping up last year before we kind of dive into this year. I don't know if you could have scripted a better start for this program. 7-0 start for the first time, I guess best start since 1988 for this program. A play here, you're probably region champs with the loss at Green Hill. Just kind of wrap last year's season for me. Obviously, probably didn't end the way you wanted to in the first round of the playoffs at Riverdale, but just kind of talk about last season and obviously some really good things that happened for your program.
Well, obviously, anytime you start 7-0, you're happy and pleased with it. You know, going into the bye week, fall break, big game at Green Hill, come up a play or two short. They went on and made a run. Probably played Oakland as close as anybody, and just let us know our program's moving in the right direction. We're close. However, we're not playing horseshoes or hand grenades, so close don't get it done. And so hopefully we can improve on that. Kind of got banged up last year at the end of the season. Took a little dip there at the end, but we're hopefully we can learn from that and change a few things and start right back off where we started. But it's all about just going 1-0 each week, and each game's an individual game in itself. Each play's an individual play, and just snapping and clearing and line up and spot the ball.
Yeah, I got to ask you, I know just talking to you at the Titans Media Day at Nissan Stadium, you guys are going to be anchored by a phenomenal senior class. Obviously, a lot of guys that are returning from last year's squad that contributed quite a bit. Obviously, Gian in that backfield with Gavin on the outside of wide receiver, also defensively as well. Amari from the defensive back position as well, that's going to contribute. at wide receiver as well. Just kind of hit on those guys. Obviously, Gian last year had a county high 17 rushing touchdowns, over 1,300 yards rushing for you. Obviously, a dynamic playmaker offensively that you can hand the football to, often reliable. And, he had that yardage mark, and he missed several games due to injury.
Yeah, Gion's a special player. Runs extremely hard, extremely physical, extremely talented, great young man. And offensively, as we went last year, we went through him and kind of the identity of our football team. Hopefully we can use that plus the skill guys that we've got on the outside with the, some talented guys there. But I'm going to talk. You talked about Gian, Amari, and Gavin. Everybody talks about those three, and rightfully so. However, the two young men that we brought on the defensive side today, Deontay Wilson and Jaden Stafford, kind of are our vocal leaders, kind of our blue-collar guys that show up every day and kind of the voice of our group. And, this crew has been together a long time, played a lot of Taifa together, Lebanon youth football, and just an exciting group, fun to coach, fun to be around, hard-nosed, and we're hoping that now it's their time to lead. They're able to put their best foot forward and take advantage of the opportunity that they got because they've been waiting on it for a while.
I know Coach Fries, you're going to join us here in a little bit, but defensively, I'm glad you mentioned Deontay. I'm glad you mentioned Jaden. I'm going to throw in Carter McPeak as well on that defensive unit. That defensive side of the ball seems like it can be a really strength for this football team that you can hang your hat on. And most really great teams, most of them have good offenses too, but they really, when it comes to playoff football in November, having a good defense that can keep your offense in the game is very important as well.
Well, I would have mentioned Carter too. He's working and couldn't be here, so I just mentioned it too. But Carter's a 3-year starter, and again, on all three levels, we've got a guy that's been there for 3 years, and we're hoping that experience and that unity and that bond will take us a good ways. But like I say, extremely fun bunch to coach, and we expect those guys to be leaders. They've been there. Kind of changes the way we practice a little bit because they've played in so many games and so many. However, we've got several youngsters that's wet behind the ears that they've got to bring along just like they were.
I don't think you could have asked for a better leader from the quarterback position than last year for Austin Harrison. Good football player, probably even a better person. I think you would admit that as well. Obviously going to have another new starter for this group this year, Nate Dye, who we're going to talk to in a little bit, coming over from station camp, is going to take those reps for you to start the year. Kind of talk about his maturation and just learning the offense, and what have you got to learn about him over the last couple months since he's transferred in from station camp?
Well, he's got big shoes to fill. Like you said, Austin, blue-collar guy, showed up every day, probably threw more footballs than anybody I've ever seen, trying to work to get ready to be a quarterback, and kudos to him and going to play at Hanover College. But Nate has come in, and I'm a formation and motion kind of guy. He's coming from an offense that was kind of, all right, these wideouts stay over here, and then 2 or 3 depending on what's going on. So he's had we've had some long mornings and late afternoons of just on the board, all the terminology, all the words, all the movement, what does it all mean? And then after all that's done, then you snap the and I was telling him today, let's play quarterback before the snap and let's play quarterback after the snap, and being able to see with all the movement and the motions and all the things that's going on. But he has done a exceptional job of coming in, bonding with the team, being one with the team, befriending the wide receiver group also, and then also knowing, hey, I can turn around and hand it to 17, and that's going to help me tremendously. And when I'm in a pinch or things aren't going well. But playing quarterback is not easy. You see it on all levels. It's hard, and he's worked very hard to do that in a new situation. And hopefully we will see the fruits of his labor and the mental part, him be able to excel at that because he can throw the football. I mean, he spent a lot of hours in training and times and doing that up until this point to get this opportunity. but there's a lot of stuff that goes into playing that position, and sometimes you get the credit with it, and sometimes you get the pressure with it, and let's hope that's not affected. Let's snap and clear and play football, do the things, the easy things of playing football, and we're anxious to kind of get that started and rolling to see how he does.
Yeah, one of those guys you kind of mentioned, just talking to you at Nissan Stadium for the Titans Media Day, that's kind of befriended him and taken him under his wing. Obviously, Gavin Gregory, a really special athlete who's going to have an opportunity to play football beyond the high school level. 19 Division I offers since last October to now. Obviously, he's going to do it on the offensive side of the football as a wide receiver, defensively as well. What kind of makes him so special and so unique that can be a playmaker that can do both of those things?
Well, he just has that unique skill set. He's, over 6 foot, long arms, very athletic, great ball skills, work ethic, very smart on the in between the white lines. He is a worker, student of the game. I think he was excited that, hey, we got quarterback come in that wants to throw the football, that can throw the football, and going to make it easier for me to get touches and things like that. But from day one, even before Nate was there in November, Gavin took those young guys when Amari and Gian are gone. They're playing basketball and soccer, and Gavin took the young wide receivers and said, "Let's go, let's work." And he has been a leader, kind of he calls them his kids. Come on, kids, let's go. But he has been that older brother of, I'm gonna take care of you, and when I'm doing this, you've got to be able to do that. And again, some of the stuff that he's done in his 7-on-7 and his training and the stuff that he's learned, he has shown them how to work, how to do, the work ethic that it takes that maybe he didn't have when he was younger, the maturity showing, and then just the God-given talent to, hey, I'm gonna be a football player. I love this, and it's time to flourish.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you this question. I think this might be one of my favorites that I'm gonna ask coaches over the next several days. Kind of, who's somebody that we're not talking about? Somebody that's not here, somebody that's not getting a lot of praise from the media, or from even within their own team right now. Who's a guy offensively, defensively, come week 7, week 8, week 9, playoff time, who's going to make a play for this team that's not getting talked about right now?
Well, I'm gonna say we've got 3 offensive linemen that are returning, 2 seniors, Dwayne White, Aaron Davis, 1 junior, Samuel Altador, that how they play, it's going to be how Gian plays, how Nate plays, and how Gavin and Amari play. If those guys aren't getting it done up front, we're not getting it done on offense. Guaranteed. They have the hardest job. Their name's never in the paper. Always getting yelled out by the head coach, always getting yelled at by the offensive line coach, and nobody knows who they are. And those 3 will have a big key offensively to what goes on. Defensively, I'm going to say our other 2, maybe 3, 4 defensive linemen. We don't know how that'll go, but Jarrell Simpkins, Adrian Perez, Avion Bird, Michael Stewart, maybe even Jaden Harry, and then the man in the middle this year is going to be DeEarl Legs, and how they protect him and how he's able to play is going to make the difference of can we get off the field, can we stop people, and so that those young men who are not necessarily household names, that are not scoring touchdowns or been playing for 3 years or anything like that, those guys are going to be very pivotal to us.
Coach, I want to ask you this, is can we kind of wrap up your segment and transition to talking to some of your guys here? I've talked to several teams in the area, talked to several teams in the Mid-State that are not in Wilson County. Your team and has come up a lot in conversations of who can win this region and potentially challenge the Murfreesboro teams to go deep into the playoffs. How do you guys kind of handle that, being quote-unquote the preseason favorite and accepting that, but also going out on August 20th when you play Nolensville in the MyTV Game of the Week and just play football and be hungry and aggressive like you were last year?
Well, I can guarantee none of those people watched practice this morning. But you got to embrace it. It doesn't matter. We're going to spot the ball. We're going to play the game, and whoever wins is going to win. But somebody's got to be the preseason favorite. I think as you talk to this bunch, they're a confident bunch. They're eager to go do that. If you ask them, they're going to say, we want to win Wilson County. We want to win the region. We want to go to Murfreesboro or have Murfreesboro come to us. It's not a secret. Probably everybody that you talk to in Region 4, 6A is going to say the same thing. Because that's kind of everybody. You got to win Wilson County to win it. You want to win the region, and then you want to play Murfreesboro because Oakland is obviously the measuring stick, and then Riverdale, Blackman, Smyrna. None of those are Rockville. None of them are pushovers either. But I kind of like it, and I've told them everybody expects this. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is, it's an extra weight on your back or chip on your shoulder, however you use it, whether you use it as motivation, pressure, or whatever. But we have to show up every day and handle us, and then all of that stuff works out. It doesn't matter about the preseason rankings. It matters about the postseason rankings, and at the end, what happens. And there's only going to be one in 6A. Right now, that's Oakland, and until somebody unseats them, it's Oakland. However, you have to play every game as we go to get that right, to go through our region, through Murfreesboro. But again, we have a tough region. We have good football teams, good football coaches, good football players in Wilson County. And you got to go through that before you even think about the other. And again, none of that happens till you get to week 1. And none of that happens. I'm worried about tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Number one, what's the heat going to be? And number two, are we going to respond and be better today than we were yesterday and get through that? That's the process. I mean, it's cliche, but you have to go through that to be good. And how you handle that and stay healthy, and the bumps and the bruises and the bounces along the way. Are you lucky enough to be that team that is healthy, gets the bounces, peaks at the right time, and then go on a run? And again, no secret, we want to be good, we expect to be good, and so does every other coach in this region. So right now it's all good because we're all 0-0. But again, there's a process to it, and I really don't pay a lot of attention about what, but they will tell you they expect to be good. They expect to win, and so that's what you do. That's the fun of it. You spot the ball and say, is my best better than their best? And that's why we do this. That's why you're 50 years old and chasing a little brown ball around, because it makes it fun. But it's all about turning boys into men, making relationships, and then maybe along the way we'll win a few games. We expect to, but it's all rewarding no matter what.
Coach G, really appreciate you taking some time to join us here on our inaugural Wilson County Media Days. Always love your insight. Coming up after this commercial break, we'll talk to some of the standout Lebanon players that are waiting on deck right after this on Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. Stay with us.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to Wilson County. We're continuing our Lebanon High School football segment that is brought to you by Elizabeth Scruggs with Superior Construction and Design, Wilson County's only female general contractor and interior designer, and also a Lebanon High grad from the class of 1988. Joining me now are a host of Blue Devils that you're going to see on the gridiron this fall, starting on August 20th as Lebanon hosts Nolensville in the MyTV 30 Friday Night Rivals game of the week. Joining me to my left in the chair, senior defensive back and wide receiver Gavin Gregory. Joining me to my right in the chair, senior defensive back and wide receiver, also a basketball standout, Amari Manir. Some other guys we'll get to in a second. And Gavin, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, since October of last year, your recruitment has kind of blown up. 19 Division I offers since then. You were the leader for this team in receptions and total yards and touchdowns last season. What do you feel like last year allowed you to be so successful, and some things you're looking forward to this year?
With the first question of what made me so successful, I'd say my teammates around me, just pushing me every day, and then just working outside of just football, you feel me? Just be a go-getter.
I'm going to ask you this. You mentioned to me at the Titans Media Day on August that you're going to commit on August 20th, Obviously, you're leaning some way when I don't. Tell me the school, hold that. But the school that's you're going to choose, what has stood out to them about you through the process that makes them want to be the school that you go to for the next several years?
Well, I'll start off because every time I visit said school, it was the same energy every time. See, like, no favoritism. I liked what I saw whenever I saw the practices, how the coaches was coaching. So I'll just say the consistency every time I went to the set. So.
Yeah, last question for you. I'm going to let you get out the hot chair. You had mentioned to me at the Titans Media Day that the guy that's up to my right behind me, who's going to be your new quarterback this year, you kind of taking him under your wing throughout the spring to just kind of get him up to speed with the expectations for this program, what's going to be. Just kind of talk about building a relationship with him throughout the summer and what your expectations are for him this year.
Man, I expect him to just rock out, just be who he wants to be, you feel me? Like, you can't put a label on somebody else's story. You got to let them, like, build it. And we all believe in him. He obviously coming in, new person, building relationships, which I think he's doing a great job with it. The summer, just seeing him during the summer, working with him, just staying consistent, just always just check up on him like he your real life brother. So just doing that, I feel like we'll be all right.
You know, Aubrey, you're another member of really what's going to be a standout defensive group for this team. Obviously, you're the reigning Region 4-6A Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, a part of a secondary that has Gavin as well. A part of a defense overall that's returning a lot of quality players, Deontay Wilson, Carter McPeak, Jaden behind you, etc. What kind of excites you about this defense, and what can allow it to be kind of the strength of this ball club that it can rely on, particularly in the playoffs when it matters most?
What excites me about our defense is we got some ball players, and everybody wants to get after it. Everybody come in and compete. Everybody want to be great. So when you got a bunch of people who wants to be great, I feel like it's no way that it don't work out.
You know, I asked you this. Obviously, Coach G has kind of mentioned this senior class is special. He told me a story at the Titans Media Day that when you guys were young pups in 7th and 8th grade, people would come up to him and be like, this is the next group that's going to put Lebanon back on the map and take it back to the glory days. Just kind of talk about this senior class, kind of the bond that you guys have and how close you are. And just, he mentioned it, you guys want to be Wilson County champions, you want to be region champions, you want to go down into Murfreesboro and compete against some of the best in this state. Just kind of talk about that and just the closeness of this group.
Since young, man, our senior class, we've always been together. Most of us guys, we played Typha together in middle school, so the connection's there. They've been telling us since our freshman year that this is going to be the group, and we waited our turn now. We ready. I feel like with us like having the connection that we do, there's no way we don't go out there on Friday nights and just ball out.
Joining me to my left now is senior running back Gian Azita. Obviously, Gian, you are the reigning offensive player of the year for our region. So you guys swept it last year with offense and defense. Obviously, you had a county high 17 rushing touchdowns last year, rushed for over 1,300 yards, and that's hampered with an injury. So you were destined for an even bigger season. I know you're the first one to give credit to your offensive line. Just kind of talk to me about what made you so successful last year. You run angry. You like to run people over. You're like a bowling ball. You just find a way to keep going. What allows you to be so successful and do the things that you do?
Yeah, like I said last time, my offensive line, I put my trust into them that they're going to block up front. So when the holes are open, I just hit them hard because, you know, like I said, I don't like going backwards. Forward is progress. So I just like to keep gaining progress during the football games.
I kind of mentioned this talking to Coach Shee in his segment. I don't think you guys offensively last year could have asked for a better leader from the quarterback position than Austin Harrison, what he brought for you guys just from a leadership standpoint. How have you kind of, with his graduation now, and obviously with Nate being a younger guy on this team, still learning the culture, how have you kind of stepped up offensively to help lead this group and take charge?
Yeah, so I'm not very vocal, but when I need to be vocal, I am. And with Nate, he's a great QB. You know, we're going to be really excellent this year with him. Just because he's young and stuff, it's like he has a mindset of a dog. So it's just like he's going to push all of us as well, just like Austin did.
Jaden, I'm going to move to you. Obviously, your recruitment is kind of taking some steam here of late. You got some guys looking at you. Kind of talk about that and what that process stands for you. And just obviously, you're a member of this defense that's trying to put his name out there. Obviously, Aubrey and Gavin get a lot of credit, but you're a really good ball player as well from that linebacking position. Also, Carter Big Pete doesn't get talked about enough as well. Kind of talk about those guys allowing you to be so successful from that middle level of the defense.
Like Maury was saying, we've been together for so long, it's kind of hard for us not to play as a team and bond how we do because we've been playing since we was in Typha middle school, so whenever we do play, it's a great mix between all of us. We're all good at every single, different aspect of the game. So it helps, bring us in as a team.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. I kind of asked Coach G this as well, and just kind of talking to a lot of teams in the mid-state, a lot of teams in the county. Everybody's kind of pointing to you guys as a team that can take control of this region and win it, and kind of unseat Green Hill, who's gone back-to-back. Obviously, you guys go into Green Hill last year 7-0, a play here, a play there. You guys are the region champs last year. How motivated is this team, particularly your senior class, to win that region championship and show that you guys are kind of the best team, at least in Region 4-6A in Wilson County?
I mean, we're extremely motivated. Our goal is to go 1-0 every game. We don't try to, look past to go 10-0. Obviously, yes, we want to do that, but we need to go 1-0 every game in order to, succeed. So, I mean, yeah.
Joining me now to my left, going to be first-year Lebanon quarterback Nate Dye, transferring over from Station Camp. Nate, I have to ask you just what the transition has been like for you this spring. Obviously, moving over from Station Camp, it is a wide-open offense. They like to throw the football with Sumner County's all-time leading passer. A little different now at Lebanon, a little more pro-style structured offense. What the transition has been like so far this spring?
It's been really good got great players helping me out on offense. Really getting in team meetings a lot. Team meetings a lot really help. Getting the offense together, knowing what passing concepts we have to do and all that.
I got to ask you, Coach G kind of joked with me, your first day at school, he took Gian out of class and introduced you and said, this is 17, he's your security blanket. Obviously, you're on offense with a lot of good players, Aubrey, Gavin, Gian, etc. How has their presence and just their maturity kind of helped you ease into the culture and transition of this team?
Oh, yeah, they're really giving me, small steps every day, leading me through everything that I need to go through, progressions and all that. Gian, I can trust him with the ball. Gav, he can get it. Mr. Consistent. And Maury, great guy. Give him the ball, let him run.
I got to ask you, I know not one singular game is more important than the other. I know you guys are focused on Nelsonville. I have to ask you, though, just the personal level of excitement. I think it's September 11th, week 4. Your former school is going to be trotting into the Wilson County. You're going to play them on a Friday night. How exciting is it to go against your former team?
It's really exciting. Get to show how much talent I got.
Who am I missing? Deontay? Oh, here he is. Okay, you already knew the drill. Obviously, Deontay, you saw your role kind of emerge last year. Played a lot of quality reps on both sides of the ball when Gian got hurt. Just kind of talk about your excitement of the season and what you're hoping your last ride to be like with Blue Devil Nation.
I'm ready to put Lebanon on the map and do what we usually do, go win.
Obviously, this defense has a lot of pieces as well. Who are some guys defensively, though, on the defensive line? Obviously, you guys lose Sherelle. You guys lose Juwan Stafford. Who's some guys defensively on that line that I'm not talking about, that the media is not talking about right now, who are going to make some big plays for this group up front?
Jarrell Simpkins, Adrian Perez, and we got a freshman coming in. And his name is JJ, really nice, really big, can be fast, can be good. And we have huge star Avion, he's huge.
Did I miss anybody? Is anybody good?
Avion.
There we go, guys. We're going to conclude right there with our segment with the Lebanon football players. Appreciate them joining us for Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. Coming up after the break, we'll talk to Lebanon defensive coordinator right after this.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. We're going to continue our Lebanon High School football segment that is brought to you by Elizabeth Scruggs with Superior Construction and Design, Wilson County's only female general contractor and interior designer, also a Lebanon High School grad from 1988. Continue our segment with defensive coordinator Sean Fry. Coach Fry, appreciate you joining us on a first day of Wilson County Media Days and the first of many to come, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Appreciate you guys doing this.
I know there's a shout out for a couple individuals back at home you want to get out of the way first. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely. I wanted to shout out my 2 daughters at home, McKinley and Madeline. They're watching. Love you guys. See y'all here in a little bit.
Yeah, Coach Fry, I got to ask you, you have a luxury this fall. You have some great defensive players on that side of the ball that are going to return from you. A lot of guys you can put in a lot of different situations to be successful. Just kind of talk to me about that. Obviously, in the back end of the defense, it's Aubrey and Gavin that kind of spearhead that group from that second level, from the linebacking position, Carter McPeak, Jaden Stafford, Deontay Wilson, and et cetera. Just kind of talk about what excites you about this defense overall.
I would say the most exciting part about it all is just the camaraderie that they play with. A bunch of good players in there. We can talk about those guys all day. But I think the most exciting part is this group is so tight-knit. They love each other. They love playing for each other. They're very, very coachable, fun group to be around. Come to practice every day with the mentality of getting better, which you have good groups sometimes that just isn't always the case. This group's, they've played a lot of football. A lot of these guys have played since they were sophomores, whether they were starters or just played a lot. So the most exciting part is just getting to be at practice every day. And I said this earlier in the year. I said this group will be one, this senior class will be one that when they're gone you really miss because they're just so fun to be around. Just a great group of young men.
Yeah, there's going to be some challenges this year. Obviously, you replace a lot of production, at least on the defensive line as well. It's hard to replace Jawan Stafford, who's gone on now, is going to play at University of Indianapolis, a Division II school. You lose Sherrell Simpkins, even John Binion on the back end of that defense. Both of those guys are going on as well to play some college football. How do you replace that production, particularly along that defensive line, which, in Region 4-6A, it's one in the trenches, both on the offense and defensive side of the football?
Yeah, I would say the hardest part with those two, and we kind of talked about it off air for a second, is the leadership that they brought. They were both steady every day. Jawan wasn't really a rah-rah guy. He was just hey, I'm going to do it, and y'all are going to follow me. Sherrell was more of the vocal leader, making sure everything at practice was running the way it was supposed to, wasn't afraid to kind of get in the guy's tail if he needed to a little bit. So replacing that's the hard part. We're trying to find guys right now who's going to be the leader of the group. Deontay's is our best vocal leader on our team, Deontay Wilson. He's he doesn't mind being the guy. He don't mind getting on people. Jay Bird also is that way. And like I said a while ago, those guys respect each other as a crew, as a group. So production-wise, they're going to be hard to replace, but probably even more so than the production is just the leadership that they brought on Friday nights. When things weren't going well, you could count on those guys to steady the ship for you.
Particularly in that back end, obviously these guys get a lot of credit and a lot of praise publicly. Aubrey's obviously the defending region player of the year defensively. Gavin is going to choose between 19 Division I schools here very soon. Obviously their length and athleticism sets them apart, but other than that, other than the physical traits, what makes those two so special human beings for this team?
I guess I've said this every time. I guess I need a new answer, but they're just so fun to be around. You get guys with that kind of talent level, and sometimes they think about themselves a lot. And we just don't deal with that very much. This group really loves each other. They love Lebanon High School. They love being a Blue Devil. They want to play for each other. And when you get guys with that kind of talent and have that kind of potential, to go play college football, and in today's world with NIL and transfer portal and all that stuff, to have guys that want to be here, that want to play for their team, for their school, you just can't ask for nothing more. They're a great group of young men. They love to be coached. Amari and Gavin, you can get on them as hard as you want to, and they're going to tell you yes, sir, and they're going to try to do what you ask. And just a really fun group to be around, very coachable group, and that sets the tone for the rest of the group. If you've got two guys with that kind of talent, that type of the scholarship offers and all the glitz and the glamour, if you can coach those guys hard, then everybody else understands, hey, that's the standard. Those two are going to take it. The rest of us got to also. So they set the tone for our team as far as that part goes. We expect a lot out of them. They expect a lot out of themselves. And I think that's how the season will go.
Your calendar kind of got fast forwarded a day a little bit now that your game got moved to Thursday night for the first game of the year against Nolensville in the MyTV 30 game. Even your Week 2 opponent, going to be a challenge on the road facing a good Siegel team. I know you've already kind of dove into film in preparation, at least for Nolensville, a really good team that's going to be returning quite a few starters from its offense. What have you kind of noticed in just preparation for them for the season opener on Thursday, August 20th?
Well, they're going to be a very sound football team. They're coached really, really well. They do a great job over there. Those guys are going to make sure those kids are in the best position. They've got a quarterback that's a really good playmaker. You always have to be aware of where he's at. We went down there last year, and we had some trouble defensively later in the game, getting lined up to some stuff. So I think mostly it kind of falls on us, making sure that we understand what we're supposed to be doing, getting lined up, executing whatever the call is at the time. But they're a really good football team. If I'm not mistaken, they went to the semifinals last year, at least second round, maybe third round. So they had a really good year. We expect the same thing, be a good hard-nosed coach football team and be a good way to start the year.
Yeah, I got to ask you. I asked this to Mount Juliet's assistant, Colt Carver, Chase Howland, a guy particularly from your defensive side of the ball that maybe is not getting enough praise right now, maybe not getting talked about enough. That's going to make a play for you guys when it matters most at the end of the year.
Dioro Legs, he's our starting Mike linebacker. He came in last year. He didn't start the first probably 3 or 4 games. He started getting into his role a little bit against Hillsboro and ended up breaking his collarbone against Hillsboro, obviously done for the rest of the year. He's had a fantastic offseason. He's a senior, going to play Mike linebacker. We expect him to be a really, really, really big, focal part of our defense. He's 6'2", 190 pounds, can run, very physical. So kind of guy that we're looking for to kind of set the tone in the middle of the defense.
Well, Coach Fowler, we appreciate you joining us for just a brief segment here for the Lebanon Hour of Wilson County Media Day. Looking forward to interacting with you in the weeks to come, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Thursday night and the Mobby TV 30 game of the week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Coming up after this commercial break, he's waited a long time patiently. He's dressed to the nine. Lebanon basketball coach Jim McDowell is on deck right after this. Stay with us.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes, so twice a year we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. What's going on, guys?
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. We're wrapping up our Lebanon segment of the show. We saved the best for last. He's dressed to the nine, ready for family pictures. This Lebanon coach, Jim McDowell. We're continuing this segment presented by Elizabeth Scruggs with Superior Construction and Design, Wilson County's only female general contractor and interior designer. Also a Lebanon High grad from the class of 1988. Coach Mack.
1988, 2000.
No, she was 1988.
Oh, she was.
You're trying to date yourself.
I know. I was like, I got this gray, but hey, I was only 6 years old in 1988.
There you go. Well, it's good to see you. We're happy you're here, and obviously, anytime I come to Lebanon, I have to stop by and talk to Coach Mack. Really good guy, really good relationship. Kind of welcomed me to Wilson County, so I'm always thankful for him and what he's kind of done for me. Coach Mack, in this job, we're not supposed to have favorites, particularly when you're me. It was kind of hard for me last year, though, with your team and your basketball team, with everything that they kind of been through. And I know you're not really supposed to have favorites, but I know that last year's group that went on to finish runner-up in the district tournament and the region tournament and the championship game go on to a sectional. I know that group meant a lot to you personally.
Yeah, it was definitely a special group of kids. Really good group of seniors. One of those special guys you already talked to with Amari being here. But just everything that we dealt with last year with Jaden and with everything around that, and it was nothing prepares you for that. There's no blueprint for that. But at the same time, those guys were incredible. The way that they were able to play through some adverse circumstances and situations, and so just. Definitely a memorable group, and then with the success that we were able to have in the postseason, I'll remember that forever.
Just in kind of talking to Jaden last November before he passed, I don't think I could have met a better person. I know that can probably be the same for you as well. Just the impact that he had on not only that basketball team, but Lebanon High School overall and Wilson County overall. When I think of just the people that I've interacted with so far, he's on the Mount Rushmore of Wilson County people. And I know that his loss is something that we're all going to have to continue to deal with. But, 6 months later, just kind of reflecting on him, what do you kind of think of?
Well, one thing that's kind of surreal is, his mom just recently had a new baby. She had a son, OBJ. And my wife and two daughters, we were able to go and visit them last Tuesday, and just to kind of go back in his house. And the last time that I was there was the last time that I saw him, the day that he passed. But to go back in and to hold his little brother and to get to see his little sister and talk with his mom and to see all the pictures and the basketball stuff and just him in his jersey and all those things was kind of surreal, but also it was really a good thing just from the standpoint of the last time leaving that house and just the tears to be back in there and for it to be such a positive scenario. We have a banner in our gym that's pictures of him and talking about his courage. We're going to have his initials on our road jerseys this year that we're going to have. So this would have been obviously his senior year, and his legacy will live on forever within, like you said, with Wilson County and our school and our program. But this year for sure, with this what would have been his senior year, he'll be definitely be close to our hearts.
Last year just a magical kind of postseason run for this team. Make it all the way to a sectional, and you guys captured the hearts of the mid-state along the way. What's the summer been like for this group? Obviously, you graduate some key contributors to this team. Obviously, Marquise Anglin and TJ Searcy, particularly in that postseason run. made some big shots when it mattered most for this group to kind of propel you guys past Green Hill in a region semifinal to get to a sectional. Who are some guys, obviously Aubrey is going to be key, that you're kind of looking for and that kind of emerged throughout the summer?
Well, I was just telling Coach Fry and Coach Gentry from this summer, about 80% of our starting lineup is going to be on the football field on Friday nights. Amari has started since he was a sophomore, and he'll be a senior for us. Mark Xavier England really came on the second half of the season, and especially in the postseason, and gave us some big minutes. And he'll get to play a significant amount. Started for us this summer as a sophomore. Elliot Greer started last year as a sophomore, and really has taken some big strides. He did last year and in the postseason. And then another guy, Bennett Gordon, is sophomore guy that plays football as well. And so those guys really had a good summer. You throw in guys like Caden Young, who's going to be a junior that was kind of behind some of those senior posts, Marquise and then Evan Clem and some of those guys from last year. And then Omari Carter is going to be a senior. Jed Epperson's going to be a senior this year. Some guards that I think will give us some good minutes. Dyson Torian is a guy that came over from Green Hill and was able to play a little bit, but he was dealing with a torn labrum in his hip. He had surgery this offseason, and now he's back. So we've got several guys that I think that are very capable. Got some guys with some experience, and we had a really good summer. I mean, we played all over played a lot of really good teams. We hosted a team camp. We went to Gallatin. We went to MTSU. We played on all 3 days at the BCAT. We had Bartlett and Dobbins Bennett come in for a scrimmage before BCAT. So, Bartlett's definitely setting the bar right now, and we got to see that live and in color in our own gym. So we kind of know what that looks like, and finished up with a really good win over Knox Catholic the last day of BCAT. So I think that ended up the summer on a good note and gave our guys some confidence kind of moving into the offseason.
Well, not only has it been a big summer for you guys from a development standpoint, kind of like you mentioned, something that you and Coach Barrett obviously have been working for a long time and kind of pushing has kind of come to fruition in the mid-state and the state overall. Obviously, shot clocks are now going to be the future of Tennessee high school basketball. I know that's something when Bartlett proposed with the TLSA Board of Control this summer, your name was on the proposal as a school that really wanted to push for this. How important and crucial is it for the state, for the development, not only boys basketball but girls basketball as well, to have a shot clock to move forward with?
I think that's just a logical next step or progression for our game. 33 states had already passed that in some capacity. I'd been to the National High School Basketball Coaches Conference the last 2 years. One was in Nashville and one was in Savannah. And just hearing all of the people that already had it, there was not one state that was playing with the shot clock that said they would want to go back to not having it. And so all of those things, just the betterment of the game, it's really going to clean up, I think, and make more exciting the end of quarters, the end of game situations. I think it has the potential to help officials to deal with some things. It'll do away with the 5-second closely guarded rule, which was one of the toughest things from a subjective standpoint. Should help with the 10-second count in the backcourt. And then also, if it's a game to where 8 to 10 point game with 4 minutes to go, teams, instead of going ahead and starting to having to foul and it being a free throw shooting contest, teams are going to have to play it out and create extra possessions. So I think all of those things are going to be positives. We really worked hard in talking with the Board of Control and talking with some different leaders across the state and trying to get that done. So really appreciate everybody with the TSSAA that helped us and the Board of Control for voting it in.
And obviously development and enhancement of basketball is something that you're going to continue to push for. There's been talks. Obviously, soccer the last couple of years, both boys and girls for state tournaments have gone to RPI to kind of seed the state tournament teams. Obviously, we saw last year the blind draw doesn't always end up the best. You don't always get the best matchup. I'm sure, just kind of talking to you off air, and I'm sure Coach Barrett would agree with you, doing the seeding off RPI is something that you would be in favor for as well.
But I think at the end of the day, you want to have the top teams not playing each other in the first round. NCAA tournament's not done by blind draw. I think 2 years ago when you saw on the girls' side Coffee County and Bradley Central playing in the first round, that kind of really got that conversation going, which they were two of the best teams in the state, probably the two best teams in the state, and they played the first round. And then this last year on the boys' side, you kind of really had what would have been the top 4 teams in the state all year long that were on the same side of the bracket. And so, teams on the other side were definitely beneficiaries of that, but you want your state championship game to have the opportunity to be the teams that have been 1 and 2 all year long. Now, if they get upset along the way, that's part of it, but definitely want to try to keep them from playing in the first round. So I think that is definitely something that we're working towards. There's Bradley Central made a proposal for that, and so I think that's something that TWSAA and our Basketball Coaches Association is getting some feedback from coaches and schools as we kind of move forward on that issue. I think that's something that will be discussed this fall at some of those meetings.
Well, not before too long, we're going to have Blue Devil basketball back as well, Coach. Always good to talk to you. Appreciate you stopping by on a family day to take some pictures. Send our love to Meredith and the kids, and not too long, we'll see you for some Blue Devil basketball.
Definitely. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate all that you do for high school sports in Wilson County, and look forward to supporting Chuck and all those guys. Pulling for them every Friday night, holding my breath that all those guys stay healthy. Want them to, I tell them when we finish team camp, hope to see you guys after the state championship game. But Chuck and all of his coaches do a great job, and I'm very fortunate to have him as my counterpart there at Lebanon.
Yeah, that'll conclude our brief segment here with Lebanon basketball coach Jim McDowell. After this commercial break, it's Wilson Central is on deck, so stay tuned with us here on Wilson County Media Days here at Aubrey's Restaurant, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes, so twice a year we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. It's the final hour of the show. We're joined by a host, and I mean a host, of Wilson County Wildcats. Their senior class is flanking me on all sides of this upcoming fall football season. Sitting in the chair to my left, senior defensive back Isaiah Word. Sitting to my right, senior Beckham Furman, and Isaiah, I'm going to start off with you. This season, obviously our first-year head coach in this team with Coach Josh Kniffel taking over for Ben Kuhn. What has the adjustment been like for you guys, and particularly this senior class, through the offseason? Obviously, he's been in your hallways. He's been familiar with this group for the last several years. But what has the transition been like for you guys with him taking over as head coach?
Well, I don't really think there's any adjustment, because like you said, he's been in our hallways. He's been a coach for my whole high school career. We're very comfortable around him. He knows what he's doing, but I think we just take it one day at a time, and we're just putting all the pieces together, and it seemed to be working. So. Yeah,
I got to ask you, you're one of the top returners on this team defensively. Last year, 56 tackles, 3 interceptions. You were a first-team all-region selection defensively. Kind of talk about what allowed you to be so successful on that side of the ball last year, and just kind of some expectations for not only yourself, but for this team defensively this season.
Well, last year I think it was the coaches. The coaches really helped me excel, like DB coaches, even head coaches, and like the players behind me, like cheering each other on the sidelines, But I think this year my goal is to just double those records, pretty much. Go above and beyond. Do as much as I can to help this team win.
Yeah, I mean, really last year, I don't think you guys could ask for a better start to the season. Start off with some really big wins, particularly on the road at James Lawson, that allows you to have one of your best starts in recent memory. Obviously, not the finish that you guys wanted, missing out on the playoffs. How has that only just made this team more hungry to kind of snap that streak and get back to playing some postseason football?
Yeah, I just think that last season can really show what we can do. I think we just have to capitalize on the second half of the season and, hopefully go to playoffs this year.
Yeah, Beckham, I'm going to ask you, offensively, just a lot of really good things, particularly running the football last year with Chaz Martin at that position. He led all of Wilson County in total yards rushing. Obviously, a great player who's gone on now, who's going to play some college football. Obviously, offensively, things are going to be a little different now. Talk about some guys on the offense, obviously with yourself included, they're going to be a key part of what this thing is going to look like for you guys offensively.
Yeah, so Isaiah sitting right there. We have some guys such as Carter Page, Colby Scott that are also going to make a large impact, and Steven Alvarez and some other linemen like that are definitely going to help us be successful this year.
Just kind of talk to me just offensively. Obviously, unbalanced single wing last year. Is that something that you guys are going to continue to do moving forward? And if so, what do you feel like allows you guys to be so successful in doing that, particularly with the personnel that you guys have?
Yeah, so that's been our bread and butter over the last few years, but this year we're looking to expand and doing some different things. Definitely.
Just kind of talk about this senior class. Obviously, there's a host of guys behind me that have contributed to a lot of football. Kind of talk about just y'all's bond and what excites you about this group. One last ride with them.
Yeah, of course. So we've, over this last offseason, been really big on culture and being more of a team and bonding in that way. So just the bond that we have and the leadership that we have in this class, I feel like has definitely helped our culture to develop into a more of a team atmosphere.
I'm going to ask you, there's a host of guys behind me that have, obviously I kind of mentioned played meaningful football for this group, though. Give me a young guy who's maybe at the table back there who's not here, a guy that's really kind of showed out to you, that's going to be a key contributor for this team. I mean, this, week 7, week 8, hopefully playoff time for you guys, is going to make a play when it matters most. That's really not getting talked about enough right now.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that Carter Page, Jeffrey Stroop, and Dean Roller are definitely the big three that come to me.
Got it. And just kind of talk to me, obviously, from the offensive side of the ball, Coach Kniffel, offensive line coach, maybe, some similarities there. You're in the same meetings offensively, just your interactions with him and just the culture he's trying to build. Obviously, kind of mentioned with Isaiah, he's been in the system, he knows the program, but this is the first kind of year he gets to put his own DNA on it, per se, put his fingerprint on it. So what has that been like with him throughout the summer?
Yeah, so he's been around the game a long time, obviously. He has a lot of good leadership that he already shows to us, but he wants us to have more of a player-led program, and I think that's really impactful and been impactful for us this offseason.
Appreciate you guys for joining us here to kick off the first hour of Wilson County Media Days for Wilson Central. Coming up after this break, we'll talk to Wilson Central's defensive coordinator right after this.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
You ready? Count me down. Oh, I'm on? Sorry. Welcome back to Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee. Joining me now, Wilson Central Defensive Coordinator Jeremy Luttrell. And Jeremy, first of all, I appreciate you joining us on the first day of Wilson County Media Days.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it. There's a really good turnout here. We got a lot of kids packed over in here. And
yeah, we got a lot of protection behind us for sure.
Yeah, we really appreciate y'all doing this. It's a big thing now.
Yeah, I got to ask you, just taking over, obviously, defensively, losing some guys from last year. Obviously, I think about particularly Topher Allen and what he meant to this group, not only from a leadership standpoint, but obviously a production standpoint as well. Obviously, returning guys like Isaiah, who were all guys last year, going to be defensively last year. A lot of good things, particularly early in the season. Maybe not the finish you wanted. Just kind of wrap up last season for me. And obviously, losing a guy like Topher, with his production and leadership, it's going to hurt a little bit, at least to start the season.
So I think just middle of the season last year, we kind of got in that lull. Our schedule got ramped up into the district schedule. But I think there was a lot of things we could build on from last year. I've coached here. This will be my 5th year here. And last year, a big goal was to improve from the year before and stop the run. And I think that we improved on that last year, and we're still looking to improve on that this year. Losing guys like Topher is hard. I coached him his whole high school career. He's a great kid, but we have a lot of really good younger pieces that I've been really proud of this summer, and I feel like have really grown up. And I think that just speaks like the culture we're trying to build. And guys like Topher, who were a good leader when they graduated and a really good production guy. So just trying to build more of those kids through the program.
Yeah, feel free to shout out some names there. Obviously, talk about some of those younger guys that have really stood out to you through spring ball, through summer, that on Friday nights we're going to see making plays and contributing and hopefully lead you guys back to the playoffs.
So some of those older guys who are taking in a bigger role, you mentioned him, Isaiah Word. He's had a great spring and a great summer, been a really good leader for us, playing corner. Also in the back end, we've got guys like Gunnar Gehring, who's a senior, who may not have played as much when he was like a freshman and sophomore, but now he's growing into that role and becoming a leader for us. On the defensive line, we've got Braden Burris, who will be a senior. He started last year for us, and this year we're looking for him to kind of take that next step. He's had a great offseason, great time in the weight room, and he's been a good leader for us. Mason Kroom was also a younger guy who started last year. He plays our star nickel position, and he's really took that next step in the summer. Looks to be a big key piece for us. And then we've got some younger guys at linebacker I felt like have done a great job over the summer, doing a lot of growing up. They're sophomores. They're going to be playing Dean Roller and Jeffrey Stroop. Like I said, they're sophomores, but they've really grown up over the summer, and I'm proud of them and that step they're going to take.
Yeah, to ask you, obviously you mentioned you have been for Wilson Central the last several years now, obviously under Coach Kuhn last year, transitioning now to Coach Josh Kniffel, who's going to be in his first year as a head coach as he walks by us. What's that transition been like, though? Obviously Coach Kuhn kind of resigns last day of the school year where it gets announced, so spring ball kind of already practiced, so kind of late for Josh to, I guess, get the keys to be
fully head coach, but what has that transition been like, particularly from a coaching staff standpoint and a culture setting standpoint for Josh to put his fingerprints on this football team?
Well, I've coached with Coach Kniffler for 4 years now, and anybody who knows him know that if he's doing it, he is passionate and he is all in, hitting the ground running. So I feel like as soon as he got the job, he was ready to hit the ground running, and that just kind of is the kind of person he is. And I feel like it's been a good transition. You know, there's growing pains with it being at the start of June, but there's no time to wait. Like, we got to keep rolling and keep it pushing, and I think our kids have done a good job of embracing that.
Yeah, you're going to have a challenge, your hands full per se, just looking at the first 4 games of your schedule for non-region play. You're going to get a variety of different looks of offenses, obviously, Coffee County, James Lawson, Cane Ridge, Northwest. Like, you're going to get a variety of different looks. Kind of talk about that challenge and just seeing guys where they fit defensively before you head off into region play.
Well, I think the biggest thing on those non-region games is just seeing what works for us and seeing what works for our kids. There may be things I like to do, but if it doesn't match our kids, then I don't think we can do it right then. But so I feel like it's a good learning experience, and also being some of a younger team, it helps our kids kind of grow where we're not jumping straight into playing those in-county teams where there's a lot more emotion, a lot more on the line. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to ask you, just talking to Isaiah, talking to Beckham, particularly the senior class that's behind us, they're really hungry to, obviously last year was a step forward for this group. They're ready to take that next step and get back to the playoffs, something that's been missing the last couple of years from this group. Just kind of talk about that hunger from this group that you see day in and out. They want to be in the playoffs, and they want to be playing their best football when they get into region play and when it matters most in October and hopefully into November.
Yeah, that's a big goal for us, something we want to achieve, and I feel like our seniors are clinging on to that, and that's what we're pushing for. A big thing I hear that we as coaches try to tell our players, and we hear our players telling other players in practice, is like string good plays together. Like, have a good play, make another good play. Make that good play turn into another good play. And I think that just goes into the season as well. Have a good game, all right, let's take it to the next game and have a good game after that, and just stringing those good moments and those good plays together. And I love this senior class. They're great to be around. I've coached at other places in the past before Central where maybe you didn't have as much fun coaching just because the kids, but these kids are great, and I love them, all of them.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here on Wilson County Media Days. Always good talking to you. Looking forward to working with you in the fall, and we'll see you the first couple weeks of the season.
Of course. Thank y'all for doing this. It's been great.
Coming up after this commercial break, first-year Wilson Central football coach Josh Kniffle will be joining us. Stay tuned.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's restaurant here in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. Joining me now, first year Wilson Central head football coach Josh Kniffel. Josh, appreciate you taking some time on a hectic Monday for a media day.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know our fans and players are excited about this. As you can see, a lot of them showed out today. I think that's just a big credit to the fans at Wilson Central and the team that we have.
Yeah, I got to ask you just what a few months it's been for you. Obviously, you have very much been familiar with this program over the last several years as the offensive line coach. Now heading into your first season as a head coach, what has that transition been like for you since, I guess, the end of May? And what has that steps been like over the last couple of weeks, kind of putting your imprint and building your culture within this team?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me was kind of just rallying the troops a little bit, circling the wagons, kind of getting, it was hectic there at the end of May. We didn't have that first week of summer practice. And so it was kind of just taking time. I called the players, let them know that I was going to be the head football coach. We had a meeting, kind of air everything out, kind of just talk about where the program's going. So really the last few weeks or even over a month now has just been getting everything aligned. I'm still learning as a new head football coach. There's some things I'm doing well. I know there's some things I'm not doing well, and that's part of the growing process. And I keep telling myself that, you're going to learn things along the way that maybe you didn't account for 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got to ask you, what do you feel like just over the short period now here at the end of July, some of those, I guess, the biggest lesson that you've learned so far, and how have you kind of taken that and grown day by day?
Yeah, I think the first one is the organization part of it. That's been the big thing that I spent pretty much a lot of June and I'm still working on, is just being organized for myself. Where are things at? What do my assistant coaches need for practice? And then what do my players need? So that's been a big one, and then just constantly communicating. Constantly keep relaying communication as much as possible, and that is something that I'm always going to put pressure on myself to always be better at, because when we're not organized, when we're not communicating, you can never reach your full potential. So those are kind of the two things outside of the X's and O's, something I've been focusing on and stressing on the program.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to talk to you at the Titans Media Day at Nissan Stadium, and you kind of mentioned this point that I'm about to make. You guys took a step forward last year, despite not making the playoffs. You were a 500 team, 5-5, got off to your best start since 2019 at 4-0. You would admit that not the finish that you guys wanted by any means, but you guys took a step forward. How does this program, in your eyes, take another step forward this year and get back to the playoffs where you want to be?
Well, I think the big thing for us is we got to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time. I think it's easy for us to always look ahead, especially when things were going good, right? It's easy to look ahead, and I think that caught us at times last year. So this year, it's just kind of a one day at a time mentality. For us, we have a joint practice with Siegel next Tuesday. So right now, it's what we're getting ready for that, And then after that, we have our beach scrimmage, and then we have our Siegel Jamboree. So we're just worrying about the things that are in front of us. I'm not worried about week 5 or week 6 or whatever it is. I'm just worried about what's happening now, and are we getting better every day, right? And I mean, we have to continue to move forward. If we want to make it to the playoffs, if we want to continue to build off the success from last year, we have to move forward. We have to continue to get better every day, every single day. Even if it's 1%, that's 1% better. But that's the big focus that we're on.
Yeah, obviously you're a former high school football standout yourself in Iowa, a college football standout at Iowa State. You were fortunate when we talked on the phone after you got hired to be coached by some great coaches at the collegiate level. You mentioned Matt Campbell, Alex Golish, some guys that are doing it at a high level right now, at head coaching jobs. How have those guys kind of helped mentored you to be the coach that you want to be? And obviously you mentioned then that they are resources for you even now, that you can reach out if you needed any guidance or help or just advice in general.
Yeah, no, I think I've been very blessed to have great head coaches and just great coaches in general. That goes all the way back to high school. I had a high school coach, in the state of Iowa. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's somebody I still call to give advice. He was a head coach for 20-some years, 30-some years as a coach. And I went to Iowa Western Community College. Coach Strohmeyer, Coach Blackburn were great coaches for me there, and Coach Woods. Then obviously when I got to Iowa State, Matt Campbell, somebody that, I find, really close to me, a guy that I really appreciate every day, even though I'm not around him. I remember he always talked about, trusting the process, right, and how the process is going to get really hard before it gets better, but you still have to trust it. And his big thing is also controlling the controllables, right? I mean, there's things in life you can't control, right, but you have to adapt to that. If you get caught on things that you can't control and you start worrying about things that you literally have no control over, right, you're never going to reach your full potential. So being around, a guy like Matt Campbell, and then even Coach Golish, right, he was the same way. He was the one that recruited me out of JUCO. He's one that, I texted back and forth, just simple football questions over the last few weeks. He's been great, just giving me insight on just how to be a football coach, what you need to do, to become a good football coach.
Obviously, the offensive personnel in this unit really well as the offensive line coach last year. Offensively, obviously last year with Chaz Martin, you couldn't ask for a more dynamic running back in this county, probably in the region overall than him. Obviously rushed for a Wilson County high 1,365 yards last year, 14 touchdowns, the region running back of the year. Really could do it all for you guys. And even offensively on the offensive line, really being able to run the football, something that you guys really kind of prided yourself on. Kind of talk about the adjustment now that Chaz has obviously gone on to the University of Cumberland's and what that positional group is going to look like in that offensive side of the football.
Yeah, no, we've, obviously Chaz was a great player for us, and we wish him nothing but the best at the University of Cumberland's. I think as coaching staff, we're excited to go watch him play too. But for us at the running back room, Carter Page has done a great job for us. You have Jeremiah Smith, who's done a good job filling in for us. And Dean Roller's doing a great job. And so it's a big running back by committee now. What I appreciate about the running back room is every day they're competing. Every day they're running hard. And that's all I ask for, especially as a former offensive lineman. I've had a chance to play with a lot of great running backs. And the common denominators is they ran hard, And at the same time, the offensive line, though, I put a lot of pressure on them. Especially being a former offensive lineman, I think it's once a day or at least every other day I go, I tell them that, we're going to lean on you, right? And that our success, especially in the run game and overall as an offense is going to rely on you guys. And so they know that. They're a great group. They're a very close group. Once a week, they're going out to eat together, hanging out with each other, and that's a credit to their leadership within their group in doing that. But even though we don't have Chaz, I still feel confident with the running backs we have, and I still feel confident with the offensive line that we have.
Yeah, I remember talking to Coach Kuhn last year at the media day for the Titans. He said, we're going old school. We're doing unbalanced single wing. We're going to run the football and stick to our personnel and what we do best. I feel like, obviously, is that something that you guys are going to continue to do moving forward, or are we going to see more wrinkles, I guess, schematically and formationally from this team this fall?
I think right now it's, we're going to do what we do best, we still have our base plays that we want to run, and we're always going to find ways, different wrinkles, to throw off other teams. And that's kind of been the big focus that we're working on right now is obviously we still want to be good at what we do, but we also want to find ways to open it up as much as possible, to give different looks. That's part of the chess match within football, right, is you want to be good at what you're good at, but at the same time, you have to find different ways to get creative. So, we're working on that right now. I've learned quickly that there's some plays work, some plays don't, right? But that's why you practice and that's why you figure it out.
Yeah, kind of moving over to the defensive side of the ball. Heart and soul of the team, probably last year defensively, Topher Allen, another senior leader who not only led with his production but also his leadership as well. I know he's going to be a guy whose leadership and production you're going to need to replace. Coach Luttrell kind of mentioned Isaiah Word as a guy that's going to be a big step to that. Kind of talk about that unit overall and some expectations you have for them.
Yeah, I think what I've seen from our defense so far is that they're going to fly around. They bring great energy, and really the team as a team in general, I always stress I want to be the most physical team, the toughest team we can be, right? But defensively, Coach Luttrell's done a great job, and really all the assistant coaches have done a great job over there. And what I've seen from practice, I've been very pleased, there's always going to be mental errors here and there, right? There's always going to be something, schematic-wise that maybe didn't work that play, but what I appreciate so far is that we're flying to the ball, we have high energy. To me, that's half the battle in defense, right? Yeah, you have to have that energy, you have to fly to the ball, it has to be 11 to the ball, it can't just be 2 or 3 to the ball. And right now, what I'm seeing so far in practice is I'm seeing a lot of that. And again, that's a credit to our players, and that's a credit to Coach Luttrell and our defensive staff.
Yeah, I kind of joked, with Coach Luttrell kind of off air that you guys are going to be road warriors to start the year.
Yeah.
First 2 games are going to be away from your home field, going to Cane Ridge and to Northwest. You're going to learn a lot about yourself those first 2 weeks. You're facing teams with different schematically styles, formationally, both offensively and defensively. Even your non-region schedule, first 4 games overall, Coffee County, James Lawson, you're going to see a lot of teams that can do a lot of different things well. Kind of talk to me about what excites you about that 4-game slate to start the year.
Well, I think for me, I guess I was kind of a different player. I kind of like being on the road. I always loved playing at home in front of our fans. But for me, when I was playing college football, there was always an excitement when I got to go on the road and play in front of, hostile environments, where the fans are going to be intense, they're going to be loud, they're going to be supportive. For me as a competitor, that was something that always got me excited. So, but there are going to be challenges, right? Cane Ridge, right? We're going to their place. Okay, it's going to be on the road. It's going to be week 1. It's probably going to be hot, right? It's going to be tough. There's going to be tough elements involved with that. Northwest, right? Same thing, right? We're going to have to drive up to Clarksville. It's going to be a long drive, right? So right off the bat, we're going to have two games where it's going to go back to we have to control our controllables, right? We're going to have to control what we do best. Okay, we can't let a far drive affect the way we play coming out to start the game. Coffee County, that was a physical, I was a fist fight last year down in Manchester, right? And that was a close game at the end. So I'm expecting them, to come up here and want to get us back. And James Lawson was one of those teams last year. I was actually on with Coach O'Brien, our linebackers coach. That was the game last year when I kept watching film throughout the week. The better they got, you started to realize that, hey, this is a really good football team. And last year they had really good football players, really good coaching that gave us fits in the first half. We had to come out in the third quarter and make some adjustments. We couldn't just do what we have to do. So, those first 4 games are great opportunities for us, but they're opportunities that we can't take lightly.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. I've kind of saved it for last before we go to commercial break. Obviously, you're going to echo probably everything I say. Your wife, Savannah Sanders, probably one of the best, not only in the county but the mid-state at what she does. The way she rallies together over at Green Hills Softball, the kind of leader she is, the kind of talent developer she is. I'm sure she'll have phone calls one day, or if not already got them, about going on to the college level. that rubs off on you, though. What have you kind of learned from her over the last couple of years that have kind of helped you assume this job as a leader of a program and just taking on the onus of everything that comes with that?
Yeah, well, I think the big thing between me and her, we have two different kind of coaching styles. My wife is, she's very much in the moment, right? She's very realistic. She's a very intense coach, which is a big reason why they've had a lot of success, And so for me, I've kind of had to, at times I become very optimistic, so she does a good job, reminding me like, hey, make sure, this is what needs to happen, right? Whatever it is, even outside of the X's and O's in football. But she's a great supporter. That's one of those when I took the job, we talked about it, and ever since I took the job, there's days where I come home and I'm frustrated, and she's pretty quick to tell me, like, well, welcome to the head coaching world. Not everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows, but, she's great, and it's being able just to sit and watch her coach has been awesome. Her attention to details is huge. Even after wins, if I'm like, hey, that was a good win, she'd be the first person to be like, well, our details weren't great, right? We didn't make the play that we should have made, or we should have made this play better than what it looked, and that's one thing I've learned from her is the attention to details, which again I think makes her such a great coach, is that she doesn't care necessarily about the score. She cares about how it's being played, and if it's not being played the right way, she's going to let those girls know that, hey, this is how it needs to be played. And I think that's what great coaches do. They're not just satisfied by what the number is on the scoreboard. They're more focused on how the game's being played and is it being played the right way.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that's just a great support system to have. As you kind of mentioned, she kind of likes to joke with me that you're an honorary assistant coach for Greenville softball. I've seen you kind of hovering down the left line from time to time. I imagine on Friday night she's going to be an honorary assistant coach for you guys as well. What is that? You kind of mentioned just the support system. She understands what you're going through right now. Preparation for a season. I know that has to mean a lot to kind of bounce things off of her as well.
Yeah, no, like I said, she's a great support system. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of late night hash outs. That was kind of something that I learned when I moved down here with being a head coach is, I'd be wanting to go to bed at 10 o'clock after the game, and we're up to midnight, hashing out, inning by inning, out by out, play by play. So I know I'm probably going to have that this year, which is okay. It gives a different perspective. And but no, like I said, she's been great right now. She understands the schedule, which is great. She understands, like, hey, you're gonna have long days, you're gonna have long nights, and I think that's what makes her great. And I think that's why we work so well together. Is I know when spring comes around, right, she's gonna have long nights, long weeks. They play for it. I don't got to worry about one game a week.
Yeah, she's got to worry about 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5, and then a tournament. So I don't know how she does that. Her organization skills are elite. Because I couldn't do that. I couldn't do the 4 games a week. I would be losing my mind. 1 game a week is already stressful enough. So,
well, Josh, we really appreciate you stopping by what has become a festive night here at Aubrey's in Lebanon. Once again, we appreciate you bringing out not only your whole football team, but having your senior class behind us as well to start things off. Congratulations once again on being the head coach of Wilson Central. Looking forward to working with you throughout the fall, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you guys. We're going to commercial right after this.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Final segment on a Monday, wrapping up Wilson County Media Days here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric. Wrapping things up with 2 Wilson County and Wilson Central standouts. Mason Froome is to my left, your right. Tim Amamayas, offensive lineman, defensive lineman for Wilson Central, is to my right, your left. Mason, I'm going to start off with you. Obviously, you were a contributor to this team last year, both on the offensive and defensive side of the football. Just kind of talk about, in general, some expectations you have for this team this year.
We've been working hard, and we're just stacking days throughout the off season, and I feel like we're just get the job done, do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, defensively, let's start on that side of the ball. Obviously, losing Topher Allen, who's a big part of this team, both from a leadership standpoint and production-wise, is key. Obviously, you're going to have to replace that leadership. Kind of talk about yourself and Isaiah Word, kind of stepping up in a leadership standpoint and kind of taking the onus upon yourself to kind of be the leaders of that defensive unit that's going to have to play some meaningful football for this group.
It's not just me and Isaiah Word, it's the whole defense, I think. Everybody's really stepping up. We have 2 upcoming sophomores, Jeffrey Stroop and Dean Roller. They're doing pretty good in practice. I think they're going to be good. And Gunnar Gehring, he's going to be good. And we're all a family, and we all communicate, we all talk to each other on and off the practice field.
Yeah, I have to ask you, what has that transition been like for you guys? Obviously this offseason, Coach Kuhn resigns at the end of May, kind of last day of the school year. Coach Kniffel takes over kind of in June, really kind of missed that first kind of couple weeks of the summer period as he kind of transitions and gets started. What has that adjustment been like for you guys as he takes over and kind of puts his imprint on this team?
I mean, it is what it is. Coach Kuhn sucks, but we're just like I'm saying, we just keep stacking days. Coach K is doing really good, I think. But yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, Tim, I got to ask you. Obviously, you were in the same meeting room last year with Coach Kniffel as your offensive coach, offensive lineman yourself. I have to imagine the excitement level when you heard that he was going to take over as head coach of this team was pretty high. Just kind of talk about y'all's relationship. I mean, how excited are you that he's the next leader of this football team moving forward?
Yeah, so I've been close with Coach Kniffel since I was a freshman. You know, he was always leading us, leading the offensive line. He's a great guy. I'm very happy that he stepped up, and I don't think anyone else could fit that job quite like he has, and he's done an amazing job so far.
Yeah, I have to ask you, the bread and butter of this team last year was running the football. That's something obviously Coach Kniffel, as a former offensive lineman himself, likes to do. Chaz Martin last year, obviously Wilson County's leader in rushing yardage last year. I imagine running the football is going to be the DNA of this program again coming this year. As an offensive lineman, there's probably nothing better than running the football and allowing yourself to kind of dictate the game and get downhill.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson Central is all about running the football. We're gonna keep running the football. Doesn't matter who's in the backfield. We're gonna run the football.
Yeah, I kind of have to ask you as we kind of wrap up here. Obviously, got off to a great start last year, 4-0 for the first time since 2019. Not the finish though that you guys wanted. Obviously, you guys want to be contending, making the playoffs, and hopefully making a deep run and going against other in-county teams, and obviously going to Murfreesboro and going down and compete. But you took a step forward last year as well, 5-5 record, 500. How do you guys take another step forward this year and get back to the playoffs?
We just got to keep getting better and keep stacking wins. We got to keep working hard and, just got to keep working.
Well, we appreciate you guys rounding things out with us here on the first day of Wilson County Media Days. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope you enjoy the rest of the night, okay?
Yeah, we will. You too.
Thank you guys for joining us here on the first day of Wilson County Media Days here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee. We'll be back here tomorrow. Friendship Christian and Watertown are going to be stopping by starting at 4 o'clock. Friendship Christian head coach John McNeil will join us at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. We'll round things out with Friendship Christian Athletic Director Jason Miller. Watertown will close us out in that 5 o'clock hour all the way to 6 o'clock. Gavin Webster, the head coach of the Purple Tigers, will be stopping by as well. And then closing us out tomorrow, Watertown basketball coach is going to embark in his first year. He's a hometown hero. It is Seth Price. Looking forward to you guys joining us once again. If you're in the area, stop by tomorrow night. It'll be good to see you guys. We'll close things out. See you guys tomorrow.